Alright everybody, welcome to hour 1 of our Friday stream. And we're not streaming, are we? Are we streaming? Maybe we're streaming. Things aren't showing. Yep, looks like we're streaming. Excellent. Alright, welcome everybody, good morning, and let's get something done today. So we made some good progress last time. We've created our server user that is holding on to a server state for us. So now let's dress it up a little and look how we can interact with the clients now. We finally have objects that both clients, and by both I mean all of them, can interact with each other. And maybe we should try to look into things like temporary ownership and things like that. Yeah. And I also want to do things like client-server movements and things like that. So for example, I'd like to visualize the proxies differently from the server-side things, right? You know, we'll look into that. So by kind of slotting it like this, what did I do? I snapped the positions on drag. I see. But that's on the server. Now on the client, if we drone, okay, so this, so in the moment, we don't actually move the card on the client, right? Now if we do this, yeah, it keeps popping it back to where the server thinks it is, right? So basically what we want to do is we want to exclude that card from state updates, which is basically here, right? So this will fire with info from the server. Now, if the card is starting to be dragged, is that being marked on the card object itself? I am not sure. So let's have a look at the mouse handler. So, on drag, start dragging, drag this drag delta, enable drag planes, trigger event, intersection, drag delta. So trigger event, so I don't think this actually touches the object, which is good, which is how it should be. So, when we update here, let's try something. So, what we're actually gonna output is the drag start position of the card in question. I see. So most of these cards aren't going to change. And this is the card that we care about. So var card equals, oh, how to do this? Right. And we'll use card in here. If card if equals undefined, then we'll do the update. Otherwise, we'll rely on the dragging mechanism to actually do that for us. Alright. Let me make sure that the chat is open so I don't miss any of your lovely messages. Alright. So now I can smoothly move this. Not connected to network, client sent data. This start card the position. What? Excuse me. Ooh. Oh, interesting. What's going on now? Line 31. We cannot do this. Cannot set property position of undefined. Cards is on create server. Cards length. Let's try that. Okay, so what happened here? Hey, Mackie DeLil, how are ya? So, event drag. Card -1. Okay, so that's not right. That means that before we send this, the self-regard index of this comes back as -1. Alright. Alright, so what the hell, man? So how can self.cards be .length be 0? That doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense. Unless self is not what I think it should be. Ah, I'm an idiot. Fair enough. Alright, let's restart this properly. So now if I touch a card. Okay. So, does this. Alright, so let's get rid of some of this logging. Right. Update card. What's all this? Okay, so this. And then on the server, we have this and this. Alright. So now if I grab this, I get smooth movement over here. Ah. Still needs to restart. Okay, so now I get smooth movement over here. Yes, that's what I want. Now what we can do is we can forward the movement, and then on the far side, instead of updating the proxy directly, we'll update a kind of a shadow for it. So we can kind of show a glow of where the card's going to go, the intent of the other side, and that sort of thing. The idea is that we can better control the visualization, the data transmission. Cool. Alright, so before we continue, I think I want to put in some more of the actual visual features of the drag and drop example, such as the card lift animation and that sort of stuff. And maybe even the Z-based pickup and drop and all that stuff. And we'll get a real network drag and drop example slowly but surely. Ah, the only thing we don't have right now is, so if I move this, and then I move this, and then I move this again. Yeah, see now that these won't be updated, so we'll basically have to listen to drag stop, and set this to undefined. Because that's basically our dragging marker. So this dot dragging equals true, this dot dragging equals false. Let's just do this. And then we'll do if dot dragging equals true, or is dragging, to make it super clear, because we have draggable as well as a property. Huh? This dot is dragging equals true equals false. That means drag stop isn't firing. Is it drag end? God damn it. Or drag finish. Drag start and finish. Alright, I should have figured that one out. That's not too bad. Oh. Yeah, so it snaps it once the server info comes in. But in reality, we kind of want to snap it ourselves here. So we kind of want to do this. So we kind of want to do snap, snap, snap. Where's the snap? Is that only happening on the server? Yeah. You know what? Is this also getting pushed into the state? I think it is. Alright, so let's try this. So, self.cards idx dot position, and then self.state.cards. Are these two holding, because state should be technically the network state the server takes care of for us, right? Let me just make sure this Xenocide Academy stream is up and running. So if I drag this and then drop it, we have this and that. So at that point, we really want to do this dot position dot copy self.state.cards idx position, basically. So when I drag it here, it'll push into the snap position because that's what our network state says. And it works for any of them now. Cool, and the proxy never knows the exact movement. I mean, ultimately we want the opposite of it, but it's a good proof of concept, that's for sure. Cool. All right. Cool. And there's no log spam right now. No. Alright. Alright, so step 2, let's bring in some more of the drag and drop functionality. So, only thing we care about right now is Blueprint client. Okay, so now in the drag and drop prototype. So step 1 I think has to be the card lift functionality. Now the question is, how much do we want to re-implement this stuff? There's kind of a lot of functionality in here already. Maybe not. It's the whole drag Z stuff. All right, let's see how we can use that. So it attaches. So we have animate mesh, XenoCard animate mesh, animate position, animate position. Should we put that under geometry helpers? So we have a property animator under animation helpers. So we might want to move the animate position in there as well. Whoops. Let's have a quick look at the drag and drop before we continue. Drag and drop, prototype. All right. All right, where were we? Yes, we have our drag and drop. We've got our network. So now let's move the drag and drop visual effects over to the networking. So step one, we need to isolate them and put them in our libraries. So we have animate position, and that should really be in the animation helpers. So let's bring it over there. Animate position, it's a simple function, shouldn't be a big deal. Property animator, animation helpers. Animate position. It's not really XenoCard specific. Kind of super simple. And we kind of do, whoops. Similar to the geometry helpers and the asset stuff. And then here we can simply say, I'm sure we have the animation helpers in here anyways. So drag and drop, helpers, animation helpers. Helpers. Do we have the geometry helper here? I mean, it's fairly low-level fundamental stuff. So actually we want to probably have that pretty high up here. And then we probably want to do similar to here. Oops, animation helpers. And the name is animate position. Alright. Yeah, so that's done. This we might actually want to move into XenoCard 3D now. Alright, so generate portrait geometry. So if we put animate mesh here as a method, right, that's all we really need. And done, more or less. And animate position we need to pull out of the animation helper, which is going to be our prerequisite, which is fine. And go here, and then we'll just do this. Right, and then we don't need to do this anymore. Where is it? Animate mesh. Don't need to do this or this, and we can even give this a different name. And why does this not have a bar? Interesting. So this was actually kind of like this. Unexpected token there. So that still works. Whoa, no, it doesn't work. This dot animate mesh. XenoCard 3D animate mesh. Did I not save this? It's very possible. Interesting. Drag and drop. This dot animate mesh. Drag and drop 79. Alright, let's have a look. Drag and drop 79. Alright, so what line was it? 79. Hey Cord, party coder, check 16. Hey everybody, how are ya? Good morning. This dot animate mesh. This. So animate. So in this case, this refers to XenoCards 3D, which should have animate mesh on it. Okay. Why does it not find it? So if I grab this, line 79. Whoops, wrong place. This. Oh, yes, of course. Because the card is that, but animate mesh is actually applied to the mesh. Card.animate mesh. Wait a second. So XenoCard, when it creates a card, I keep forgetting the XenoCard is not the class, but it's the constructor. Alright, so there's two things. There's the mesh tween. Animate position, mesh.position, move vector, mesh, animate mesh. So if I pass in mesh here, and we'll stick the mesh tween on the mesh, right, like this, right, and then, animate mesh. Right, and then we'll say something like cards.animate vector equals function. Basically, we'll just do this, and then here, this is really a static method on XenoCards 3D. It's kind of just an external helper, right? Which goes here before the prototype, and then we'll execute it on this .mesh, right? So we'll just do this, pass everything through this .mesh, move vector, snap, basically. Right? Nope. Because it's now called animate vector. Alright. And we have a smooth animation. Excellent. Okay. So we've moved that in here. Yeah, that's fine. That's a decent place for it to live. And we can get rid of it out of here, and XenoCards 3D will take care of it. Excellent, okay. Now, card handle mesh ready. So that applies the force field. Okay, fair enough. We gotta clean that up anyways, we don't need those in the moment. Thanks for the retweets, everybody. Appreciate it. Good going, good going. Laundry folding robots. Excellent. Excellent news. Hey party coder, what's up? Okay, so card handle ready, mesh ready. So this is shrinking. We still have all of this. We definitely have to worry about the material stuff eventually. Right now I'm not gonna worry about the selection effects. Although, does the drag and drop system use them? I think it might. So we might actually want to clean up the drag and drop system so the selection effects are basically outsourced. So we might want to do a bit of cleanup on this stuff, right? Yeah, you see we have the whole card, this stuff. And these should really be just event listeners on the cards themselves. So we want to separate the glow handling. We want to separate the glow handling from the actual movement handling. Yeah, I think that's kind of important. Until the drag and drop system is no longer dependent on this glow stuff. Then the question becomes, how much does the drag and drop system actually do? Mesh the position, animate position. So that's replaced with animate vector. Good. Remove wireframe. So that sets up the wireframe effect. Drop target. So snap card position. Get to drop target. Fair enough. Yeah, let's clean all this stuff up a bit. Card glow is kind of also... So card glow is used only here and in those methods down there. So card glow, fine. Here. Okay, so that's card glow, mouse down, card glow, mouse up. So the card glow object itself is a bit complex. So card glow, because it itself does a bunch of stuff. Alright. So all of this is card glow stuff. Okay, glow flow material, is this elsewhere? Is the word glow mentioned elsewhere in this file? No. So if I get rid of all of this, suddenly there's no more glow dependency on the drag and drop thing. Because I'd rather dispatch an event, you know? So in here, so everything else still works. There's just no glow effect. So let's see, card, snap position, card event listener, mesh ready. Card position set. Snap card position, fair enough. So attached to mouse handler here just starts listening for cards to get attached, right? Attached to mouse handler equals this create card attacher. I don't get it. Create card attacher. Isn't that the same thing? Like, this whole thing is just nothing? Yeah, that whole thing was nothing. Okay. Wow. Alright. So then these are not using anything local here. Right. Let's clean this up a bit further. Let's elevate this to a proper class. And then elevate these to class methods. Right. And now it should still work. Or not. God damn it. So this needs access to the mouse handler. Alright, well, that just means it has to go here as part of the instance. And then mouse handler, this dot mouse handler, right? And then here, this dot mouse handler, this mouse handler, basically. And then here, this is actually self dot. And that's it, right? Those two. Now the thing is, these are all event handlers, so I think they're gonna get pushed into, well, event listeners somewhere along the lines. Although maybe not, you know? So they only pass E straight forward to get Z vector, and get Z vector, does this even use V? It uses V in get intersection, but get intersection doesn't necessarily need it. So let's have a look at the mouse handler again. Alright. Get intersection. Or type dot. There we go. Surfing through this website, all programmers have terrible taste in music. Well, I just play whatever's chill. And I have a couple of channels on YouTube that I trust. And I don't trust my own sense of music. And be warned, sometimes I'll play some terrible electro bullshit that even I don't like. So, we all make mistakes, right? But I hope you enjoy the chilled summer dance bass stuff things. Liquor. LOL. I don't follow. No, that's water. It's water. It's in the morning. I'm thirsty. Alright, so, get intersection. Mouse V2. So it needs the mouse info to be able to calculate the intersection. Well, fair enough. Drop target. Position clone. Target add self GC. get Z vector, eCard destination Z, snap card position target. So this is where we calculate the snapped position where the target should land. And we use it in drag finish and on drag for the highlighting. Alright. Well, it's kind of like that, so it should live in a similar place as the get Z vector. It should live one level up. And it's basically this. Right. And then this is this. Snap card position, right. And then here we'll execute self dot instead. But what were we passing through here? This would be the card, which we get passed in from here. Card position dot clone. Get Z vector target dot add. Card position dot clone. And then get Z vector also gets card and uses it only for the delta Z. Card destination Z. Z vector. Return Z vector. Drag to section false, return Z vector. So that returns a null. Start, end. Camera dot position. Oh, shoot. We need to pull the camera out as well. What else is in here that we need? Mouse handler? Do we need scene? Don't think so. Card gets passed in. Alright. E gets passed in. Now get Z vector gets called for drop target, which now we are getting rid of, right? Get Z vector, but it was used one other place, right? In card drag start. Yeah, okay. That should work. Yeah, that still works. Can grab these cards, move them around. Alright. It's water. Seriously, it's water. Alright. So, pull these two out. Now we're left with 1, 2, 3 event handlers that we're attaching to the cards. This dot attach card. Attach to mouse handler. This dot attach card. Alright, fair enough. So these are bound handlers. I guess we can use our bound handler system now. I mean, here we have all this stuff in the closure that we can get access. And because of this, we don't actually create a new method per card. Yeah, this is actually not too bad right now. Now the question is, can I plug that into our other system? All right, let's pull all of this shit out first. So we wanna fire. So we wanna fire off self.dispatch event. Now I guess we have an event. No, we don't. So let's create an event dispatcher for this. I don't know. We can use Blueprint as our So maybe the event dispatcher should start traveling into core. Maybe. No, let it live in Xeno for now. Let it live in Xeno. So under here, drag and drop should be an event dispatcher. I agree. So that goes to /Xeno. And that means our drag and drop example now needs to include the event dispatcher from Xeno. Where is it? And then we need to actually apply it. Alright, so now this should be an event dispatcher. Yeah, I try to use strict mode on all files. I don't really can think of a good reason not to. Unless there's like conflicts with third parties, but since I'm not using a lot of third-party code, I can afford the luxury. I'm trying to learn best practices, you know? So if I dispatch card attached here, and then card detached here, right? Then I can listen to these events from out here. So I can say drag and drop dot card attached the dot on card attached function card. So many spelling mistakes and so few words. So, card attached, and then card detached should fire as well. Except we're not actually detaching in this example. But it should fire. How about XenoCard? What about XenoCard? It's all strict mode. Hey, Quicksilver and Flash Black, how are you guys? Getting a busy stream together today. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to move this code out of here and remove the dependency on card glow. So let's see if we can stick all of that in here without muss or fuss. So what we're gonna do is glow flow material. We're gonna create the material here instead of there, and then we're gonna hide this. I'm gonna just do this, and then we have glow flow material. We can actually do that here, right? And then we have access to card glow. And that's all there is to it, as far as I can tell. So this is all of the card flow stuff. Card glow, yeah. So card glow is the dependency in here, isn't it? Yeah. Get rid of that, right? Now, I think all mentions of glow, no matter the capitalization, should be commented out in this file. Yes. And card glow goes back up one level where it belongs. Right. Yep, looks like our card glow is working now from the outside. Excellent. Now we can actually pull this out here, and we can say function attach card glow card, comma card glow. Ah, no, no, stop doing that. All right. So that means all of this can go in there. Right, and then we can just do this. Card glow. Right. And then technically we'll do the same thing with detach, even though right now it's not being used. It's called detach card glow. Don't think we actually need a reference to card glow in here. We might. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, the problem is these event listeners aren't actually... So card glow on hover actually returns a... I'd like to wrap this kind of functionality up into a generic module in the future. So card glow on hover currently actually returns a function. This is kind of cool. I forgot that I built all this functionality actually. And I built it very quickly as well. Where does it attach to the animations as... properties? Here it does, right? Self.toKey. So that returns a function which returns this, which is not a function. This is so odd. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, because it's already pre-bound. Ah, these are bound functions or methods. Cool. All right, so drag, start, drag, and drag finish. We're updating positions, and we execute some. So we really want to remove a lot of handlers. There must be a better way of adding and removing a bunch of specific handlers. I mean, what we can do is something like this: cart dot underscore event handlers equals, and then we'll just do this, and then we kind of remove them afterwards. We need another music mix, so let's try this one. I think this might be some trance. We'll see how you guys like that. So if I do this, and then I just have these mapped into these guys, and if it's all pre-bound, which it kind of isn't, but we can make it pre-bound. Don't know how I feel about this. Let's find out. With mouse leave, which is literally just card glow on hover. Then we have drag start, which is another function. I'm not sure how I like this pattern. We have drag. We have drag, drag start, we have drag finish. There's another function. Problem is, because we need all those, we need reference to all these things. So that's the tricky bit. Otherwise we can't detach them without references. Right. Oh. So now we can just simply say card.eventHandlers object.keys handlers dot for each function key card event listener key card event handlers key. Right. And we kind of do the same thing, but remove. Now, since I'm passing in bare functions, this will always it would make sense if I could just literally pass this into add event listeners. So if I look at my event dispatcher, right, add event listeners, type string listener function. Can I don't like to add a lot of like convenience methods to this stuff. But if I do this, add event listeners, and then I say listeners, and then I say if type of listeners is not equals to object, throw new input arguments are add event listeners, right? And then I'll basically do var keys equals object.keys listeners, and then for var I equals keys.length, no, for I equals 0, L equals keys.length, I small L plus plus. And then I'll simply say add event listener key listeners key. I kind of do this. I'll put that here, and then if I do the same thing for remove listeners, and then I'll, instead of add, I'll say remove. Does this make sense? Because now I basically can simply say here I can actually use this, right? Where were we down here? Card glow. Right. Card glow. Then card glow listeners var. Right? Now if I do this, and then here I simply say card.event listeners, card glow listeners, and then I can just remove them again doing this. And I don't need those attached into each method at all. All I need is an object describing all the listeners with references to this and our glow flow reference in our state, our card glow reference in our state. And it uses the 3JS event system. Now, can I override it? What happens if I apply it here? I think it will override it. So in XenoCards 3D, in theory, I'm currently not even holding on to a reference to the event dispatcher. Let's add the event dispatcher in here. And then let's see if we can override that in our card object 3Ds. Right here. Uncode type add to is not a function. So, does that include those method handlers? Event is... Ah, wait a second. No. Okay. So I can put these here. Now, technically, we can duck type them. Add event listeners, add event listeners, add remove event listeners, add event listeners, type listeners. Key is not defined in promise. Event dispatcher 46. Keys. Keys I. Does this make sense, or am I being too clever for my own good? I feel like I'm being too clever for my own good. Basically. Because of course this is now a synonym for apply event listeners. We can actually get rid of this one altogether. And then this is literally just that with remove set to true. And that was a very short mix. Let's try this one. Reactive extensions. Not entirely certain what you guys are referring to. Anyway. So that means I can override the 3JS event dispatcher with my own and have some nice convenience methods. Here we go. This is a lot easier to manage. Yeah. In fact, these could actually be on an, well, they are on an object. Yeah. Anyway. So, that's the card glow stuff. That's all of the card glow stuff, so we don't need this anymore. Drag and drop isn't used in, yes, it's used here. Alright, fair enough. But it also means that we can get rid of all of this before doing any of that stuff, right? And card handle mesh ready. Drag and drop, attach card is card handle mesh ready, attach card. So that's the force field. So if we get rid of this, somebody's making toast. What a weird time to make food. Is it breakfast? Is it lunch? I don't know. Must be brunch. Alright, so that gets rid of the shield dependency, and that gets rid of the glow dependency, and that means we don't need any of this stuff. We need this to actually create the cards. But the drag and drop itself doesn't actually require very much, does it? Alright, so I think we can try it to apply it to our networked client here, our network prototype. So I think drag and drop is not being included just yet. Let's just make this a little bit easier to see. Just get over there with your slow scrolling. Alright, so my god, this is accumulating dependencies. Holy, what the hell? This is like yeah. I'm starting to get so many dependencies that it's more than I'm comfortable with lines of code usually. What the hell is happening? What have I done? Alright, drag and drop is part of XenoCards, so it's gonna happen here. Oh, we have it already. Alright. So we have that in here. Drag and drop goes over here. Just a fetcher, card glow, drag and drop. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, we gotta get rid of that, and we gotta get rid of that. I never liked that being in there anyways. And we can probably use our new add event listeners kind of thing here. So var card event listeners equals right. Then we can do something like drag start. It's this. Right. Drag start. Drag finish. Right. Drag. And that's it. Start, drag, finish, drag, start, drag, card, drag, finish. So card event listeners, card.add event listeners. Boom. It's not much simpler or anything. Alright. I think that should still work. Alright, cool. Because that would be just wrong. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I apologize. My sins are numerous. Okay, drag and drop. So. Now the interesting thing here is... The interesting thing here is that... Wait, we have a mouse handle. That the cards aren't being created explicitly in the client code. They're being created implicitly through the networking system, right? Alright, so we'll definitely need this block. Card... I mean, we don't need that in here anymore, right? No. We do need snap card position, I think, for the setup. Yeah. Alright. Is that the same? I think it's the same. Drag and drop not defined. Okay. Okay. Drag and drop. Okay. Now our drag and drop here is a little bit explicit. So we're gonna have to figure out how that jives with the networking code. So server blueprint.client. This is where currently we handle drag and drop stuff. So let's stop doing that for a second. Right. So we disable the drag and drop in here. The thing is, if we attach the drag and drop handler here, it should know when cards are being attached. Or is it? Wait a second. How mesh ready. Now the cards are going to get attached to the scene here. You know what? What if we do this? If I fire off an event here, there's no way I can capture it unless I fire it on something. I see. Now in theory we can detect attachments. Is this what does it? Attach event. No. Watch children. I think this fires. Now, if we're gonna watch it already anyways, we might as well. Interactive objects, add objects. Objects are children of length. This dot add. If object receives my, okay. So we should be able to do something like this dot dispatch event. Add object. So then here, what we should be able to do is mouse handler dot on add function object, and then this should be some added object dot name. How's that? Damn it! So our mouse handler also doesn't use our event mechanism. Then how the hell does it manage events? Well, I'll be damned. I'm guessing we should really have it in there. I feel bad for putting it everywhere. It's kind of feels not quite apt. But event dispatching is just so useful. You know, it's so useful. Mouse on is not a function. Index 58. 58. It should be. Event dispatcher dot apply this. Am I looking at the right thing here? I feel like I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. Is this maybe not a proper... Ah, it's using the 3 event dispatcher. Okay, what if we do this? Instead of that. Because this should be overwritten by that. Mouse handler is not a function. Mouse cursor 16. Event dispatcher. Event dispatcher is an empty function. Mouse handler. Event dispatcher. Event dispatcher. Something going on here. Hey laddie, there's something going on here. Something ain't quite right. I'm suspecting maybe the event dispatcher isn't loaded yet at that point. Event dispatcher, yes. All the Xeno stuff is more fundamental than all the other stuff, I believe. No, not necessarily. It's definitely more fundamental than this and these things. Although this stuff might have a... wait a second. So these might have a... okay, well the event dispatcher is definitely more fundamental than any of these. So that's for sure. Yeah. Gonna have to be careful because the blueprints, they're really more fundamental. So they might maybe go one level up. Oh, sorry, there's another function. Shoot. Net cards. Are we not looking at net cards? We are looking at net cards. Net cards. Event dispatcher. Drag and drop. Mouse handler. So this is all there should be to it, unless these are even... Oh, it's all the way up there. Oh, whoa, okay. Well, the event dispatcher is pretty fundamental, so it should be pretty much the first thing after, yeah. It was an ordering thing. That's a weakness of my system. I should really, if it doesn't get found, my module loader should really at least output an error or a warning. So let's try this for a second. So if I move this back, where was it? If I move this back below the mouse handler, right? This will fail, yeah. But we don't get an error from core. And we should. We bloody should get an error from core. So if I'm not so log not found. Okay, so that comes back as not found. But what is not found? Probably all sorts of stuff aren't found. So, if this fails, then we'll do this. Error module not found. So it does find it. If name. So the problem is, it does actually find it. Oh shit. Because we have a namespace collision, don't we? So it finds event dispatcher, but it finds the wrong one. Yeah, there's not much I can do about it. And in fact, since I look in so many different places, unless... I wouldn't even know if there's a collision. Because a whole set of modules can be pushed into the module system at one time. Well, it's not for prime time, that's for sure. It is designed for testing only. Hey Rainer Zufall, how are you? I wonder if your name is Rainer, because that would be kind of cool. Alright, so this should mean that added fires, which is the event handler we've put here. Okay. Console.log obj and obj.parent. I'm not sure. Added collider. This.mesh. Parent null. Collider. Line 60. And then 61 is null. So the card.collider has no parent. Except here it does. How is this possible? How can parent be null here, and then here not be null? And in fact here it is most likely the card that we're looking for. Yes. That means that somehow it gets added before it gets added. Ugh. Ugh. I think I know why. Let's find out if I'm right. So we're creating the card here. We're setting the mouse events up. The event dispatcher gets applied here. The card collider gets added here. Did we add the card to the scene yet at this point? Card. Create card. Card children receive mouse events. Was true. Card.mesh card.collider. Dispatch event. Does that mean that at this point in time collider.parent isn't set? I'm guessing it only gets set once the whole thing gets added to the scene, and because of that we don't actually see it at that point. So, collider.parent null, added card collider, collider parent. Oh wow. So, oh wow. So we're intercepting it before the add happens. That's the problem. This happens before the add happens, which is probably not what we want. Yeah, I think this is more like what we want. This is more accurate. Alright. Yep, solved. I don't like the idea that there's these sensitive kind of things in there. Card forwarder. Don't I have a standard kind of method for this stuff yet? Alright, added card.collider. So added card.collider, console object.parent.name. That should be the card. Object.parent. Okay, so var card equals obj.parent. Alright. So, I completely forgot what we were supposed to be doing here. But we're now detecting cards getting added, which means at this point we can get our hooks into things. So right now there's no drag and drop mechanisms here. Right. But in theory, the drag and drop system gets attached via drag and drop attach card, right? So, card. Now what happens if we do this? Chaos and misery, yes. Generate reposition of undefined. Interesting. Get XYZ weather, 39. So, we're looking at stuff that we're not getting. Wait a second, attach to mouse handler. Attach to mouse handler, mouse handler. What's going on, what's going on, what's going on? So, attach to mouse handler is being set up. This .attach card became a thing. Now if I execute this .attach card, we should get here with the card coming in. Now the card that's coming in is what? Whatever XenoCards3.createCard returns. Now XenoCards3D.createCard returns it returns card, and card is a regular object 3D with a name card, right? Cannot read property position of undefined. Get Z vector E card line 39 camera.position. App self. Guessing self isn't a thing here. Alright, well, that was an easy one. Oh, look at that. Now, is that already hooked up to the network? No. No. Okay, so now what did we do in here? So in theory, we can still do this. Drag start position. Actually, we want to do this now. And we probably don't want to do this, and we might want to do some of this. Start. Now we don't want to do this. We do position this director. Now the question is, are these firing before or after the actual movement? So this obviously is moving the object, right? Wow, duh, it's moving the object. Sometimes I'm so clever. Alright, so we get these calls. So on drag, we basically want to copy the position. We basically want to say var pos equals self.cards index of this. You know what? Actually, what we want to do is, okay, this music, I don't know, what the hell? What the hell, man? So instead of that, we probably want to do this dot position. How's that? Now the problem is the drag finish and all that stuff doesn't take the Z's into consideration. Alright, now what if we undo our little snappiness on the server? So instead of doing this, we'll just pass it straight through, right? And then we obviously need to deal with the end of the animation. So instead of just sending drag and whatever, the problem is right now we're doing very dumb state updates, right? So I'm guessing this fires on the proxies right now. Does update fire on the proxies? Yes. And it fires here. Is dragging is undefined. Well, first of all, create card. Right. The thing is, if card is dragging is false, well, this doesn't make any sense, right? Now, when we start the dragging on a card, what do we actually execute? Drag start. The problem is, this drag start depends on our mouse position. Alright, we can calculate this stuff though. Because we should have everything we need, right? So when the card gets moved and we're not in a dragging position, what really happens is so drag, and then we'll do JSON.stringify cards state.position and this. And then we can do it like this. Let's see what that looks like. What do you think? So, if I move this card, it should compel me to move from this position to this. If is not equal to true. I'm not. They're all proxies, right? So I don't have a differentiation if I'm the active dragger or not. So let's clear this, right? I pick this up, I lift it over here, and that posted a bunch of stuff. And then here the Z changed, right? And then the Z went down again. Wait a second, what happened? Oh yes, pick it up, move it. Now if I look at the very beginning, the Z changed here. So that's the end of the animation, I imagine. Yeah. I mean, basically what we want to do is we kind of want to piece together what happens on the two sides and then emulate it, right? So we don't really want to clone the state over. What we want to do is we want to say, hey, drag start event, play the animation. But, for example, don't play the animation exactly like it is here, necessarily, right? Let's say this is a very different animation than it's on the other guys, right? Basically, in this case, just, hey, this is where it's at and where the guys draw. For example, I don't even need to have the card where the card is here. I want the card relative to his perspective here. So, for example, if I'm going to drop it on that position, I don't mind that card being over that position. I want the card to be down there, you know. So I want to be the card. The card here is going to look different than the card over here. And that's fine. Because we don't actually care about the real position of the card. We care about indicating intent of the other player. Right? That makes sense, doesn't it? The hell spam is that? Message from Death Battle. Alright. Not sure if I like their spamminess, unfortunately. Pretty sure I was already signed in on this thing. Don't give me a link on my email and then make me sign in first. Come on. Whoa, what's all of this stuff? Alright. And don't play noises. Holy. I don't have, sorry Lubomir, I don't have feedback just yet because I haven't used your site, so... But you guys are a bit too spammy for my liking. Alright guys, I'm gonna take a short break, refresh my refreshments, etc, etc. And then when we come back, I want to clean that code up, finish off the client-side stuff, and then we'll look at how exactly we want to interact client to server, and then maybe we come up with some good patterns that we can use again in the future. So once I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'll leave the music running, of course. I'll mute the mic as usual and put up the little text there. Alright, see you guys in 5 minutes.
Just to see you walk into a room, across the room, just to see you walk. You sure did smell good. You really impressed me. I know I'ma say some things I
doctor who had died while he was drinking. It was no one I had heard of. And I'm turning to the horoscope and looking for the funnies. And I'm feeling someone watching me, and so I raise my head.
were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest seas. We set down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my farmland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club. I remember the ocean, memories die out too hard. But we were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest seas. We sat down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my farmland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club. I'm in a tropic club.
Down the river, baby. You sold me down the river. Down the river, baby. You sold me down the river. Oh, hey, hey. Oh, you got me loose. Hey, hey. Down the river blue. I'm taking in what I can get, but I can't find the answers yet. Head underwater, slow my mind. I hold my breath until I'm found. In the silence, I'm healing. In this distance, I'm bleeding.
is settled and the ruins are laid bare, what is left? No wit, no fancy, and no human desire can grip us from our hands and tear us from the precipice. But there is music, it's wild and strange, don't you agree? The rhythm, the melody, the power, and the pulse of the beat sets you free. Sets you free. Settled, and the ruins are laid bare. What is left? No wit, no fancy, no human desire can grip us from our hands and tear us from the precipice. There is music, it's wild, it's strange, it's free. The rhythm, the melody, the power, and the pulse of the beat calls you home. Calls you home.
won't let you go now. Let me show you. It's what we want, so what are we? If we're us again. Whoa. If we're us again. So what are we waiting for? Whatever you need to know, I'm gonna show. The time's just right for you and me now. Time's just right for you and me now. Gonna show. You got me running out of this place. Gave me a feeling like I'm running a race. I'll chase you down the road with those mind games. My heart skips a beat when you said my name. Now 10 years gone and I feel the same, but you forgot my name.
Alright, time to get back to work. Sorry I was gone so long. Well, probably doesn't matter because probably everybody left and nobody stuck around because it was so boring. Right? Okay, let me see if I remember what we were doing. Oh yes, we were contemplating exactly how we transmit information across the network to do the animation. So for now, I want to go back to... Well, I want to go back to knowing why this doesn't work. What did I break? Mouse add event listener is not a function. Ah, so we probably have the same problem there now with the order of things. So the event dispatcher needs to be all the way up here. Yes. Alright. So we have that effect now. Let's get rid of that spam for a sec. Right. Now, let's add the glow effect in. And before we add it in, let's see if we can wrap it up. So, function load materials renderer load shader var materials equals whoop. So renderer shader noise map noise texture glow flow map, glow flow texture, this dot unupdate, okay. So app, and then var app renderer plus app dot renderer, and then this. And then Return materials. Or return this. Something like this, right? So actually, you know what? We'll just do that.
I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. But that dream that you're holding in your mind,
All right.
that it's possible.
Get rid of that. Load dynamic materials. Or prepare. Let's call it prepare. Nah, load is fine because we're actually returning something from there. So, glow flow map. Glow flow map. So, var. Okay, that's one. Glow flow map.
Dream that you're holding in your mind,
What else do we have?
that it's possible.
I think that's the only thing that we need right now. Those materials? Not sure. Let's find out. Now, we disabled the shields, right? Force fields. Now the force fields, we want to keep them in here, and they're using noise map. All right. So some of them have the shields. Or hover effect. All right, cool. So we can get rid of this mess. Probably want to do that here. Yep, it's all JavaScript. And a tiny little bit of shader language from time to time. Okay, so now we want to bring the glow effect into the drag and drop prototype. So let's have a look if we can do that in here in NetCards. Alright, so we have load dynamic materials, and we'll have this right under XenoCard, under here. Alright, so we need to start bringing in all these other ones. Dynamic material manager and material renderer. So let me do a little, you know, little grouping here, because it's getting a bit long. Of course, all of this stuff needs to be reorganized eventually. So then we want to have, you know what? Let's do it over here first. Probably want to do this, and then we want to do these over here. And then we'll get rid of these two. Does this make sense? Create noise textures not defined. Index 37. Alright. Card glow. So we'll do that here. Create noise texture not defined. Alright, so we want dynamic materials, force field effect. Create noise texture, XHTML, helpers, materials. I think it's this one. So, here, stuff like that. Ah, well, just time. Spend lots of time. Lots and lots of time. Okay, so the materials are loading. Now we want to bring in Whew, we want to attach them somewhere. So for one thing, let's this thing here, right? Something like card glow listener. Drag and drop card attached. Event listener card glow listeners. Yeah. So function prepare create card glow listeners. And if we put this in here, we pass in glow flow material and scene. And then here we return these, right? Var card glow listeners equals create card glow listeners, and we want the scene and then glow flow material. So that's this dot scene and materials dot glow flow material. Now the glow flow material comes out of glow flow material, glow flow. You know what? Let's do it there first. Same thing after all. Right? And then card glow listeners. Card glow listeners. This dot scene, glow flow material. Don't really need this. And then card glow listeners. There we go. Get spaced points of undefined. Holy smokes. Okay. Card glow. New card glow. Scene.add. That's odd. Card glow listeners. I am returning them here correctly, yes? Scene.add card glow. Oh. No, no, no. Uh-huh. So, glow flow material. Glow flow map.texture. Glow flow material. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Well, if you stick around, perhaps you can pick up some. That's what the stream is for, after all. Okay, so now I can get rid of all this. Okay. So I don't think I changed this. It's one of those helper functions we might want to stick into a big file of stuff like that soon. But, especially if we're using it in two places, eh? I mean, all of this stuff is only used in there. Glow flow material, create glow flow. You know what? I think I want to put that in here as well. Var glow flow material, load shader, glow flow map.texture, and then we'll just output it from here. Something like this, right? No, we have this one already. Let me have a look at this. So we have a noise map, a noise texture, go flow texture, curly noise, noise texture, map, dmm.add. Yeah, I think by putting that into the materials include in the future, whoops, in the future we can actually optimize it a little bit and it makes sense. So we really kind of want this. And then we probably then want to include these two into here. And then create glow flow is here, glow flow texture is that, create glow flow, create noise texture. Alright, let's try this. Now materials now needs all of this stuff. So that means the drag and drop order of loading needs to be... So we definitely want these two in materials. We want hard glow. There's some sort of interaction. I hope there's no loop in here. Dependency loop. Card glow. What does card glow use? Geometry helpers. Extrude path, card shape. So card glow needs the card shape from asset data, which means that we have to make sure asset data gets loaded first. Ah. So asset data needs to load above card glow, basically. Asset data not found. In force field effect. Okay. So asset data needs to be above all of these. But I guess it also needs to be above materials. Card glow 16. Geometry up extrude path card shape. So card shape gets passed in. Or not. Instance of 3.material with card shape. Instance of 3.material. Material was card shape. Card shape is that. Okay. So card glow is fired in create card glow listener line 62. Create card glow listeners. Create card glow listeners. Glow flow material. So here we're passing in glow flow materials and we're presuming the shape is available. Okay, but that's in the main file. So at that point it is available. And then here card outline I suppose is not available. But it is. Unless... Huh? What's going on here? Material is undefined if card shape is instance of... Wait, card shape is instance of 3.material. Ah, wait a second. Glow flow material. Create glow flow snares, glow flow material, materials. Load dynamic materials. What's going on here? I think I'm overloading things here. Noise map. Glow flow map, noise map. Glow flow map, noise map. I didn't add glow flow material there. Ah! What happened? I thought I had added it there. The fuck? I've added it here. Oh, I'm an idiot. Alright, mystery solved. Alright. So, can get rid of this now.
Alright.
And this is no mystery anymore. Order of that stuff works. This seems to work. And this is fine. Nothing wrong here. Hey, right, sure. The true program is not a good field to get into. I read somewhere that companies will outsource program to cheap labor countries like China and India. Well, then they need people like me to fix their stuff. Be a consultant. Don't be a code monkey. For example, I wouldn't outsource my own work because it's more work to fix it afterwards than it is to do it properly in the first place. But then again, I don't like using juniors either for the same reasons. Good thing about programming is you don't have a lot of overheads. So if somebody else can do your job better than you for less money, then, well, that's... You're always in trouble for anything, right? If you want to charge more money, you gotta be better. You gotta deliver a better product. That's capitalism, unfortunately. Alright. So now we've outsourced the material stuff. Now we don't actually need this anymore, right? Glow flow map, no. Noise map? Yeah. Alright, so now we don't even need any of these here in here anymore. We don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need any of this stuff. Right. Cool. That makes a lot of things easier. So we can replace all of this with this on this prototype. Card color is not defined. Oh, well, we don't need this anymore. And then we don't need this. Ah, wait. Materials. It's just that. Card glow is not defined. Okay. So what we're missing right now is the setting up of the glow flow handlers after the drag and drop attachment. So here we attaching cards. On card attached. On drag and drop card attached. Card detached. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now we could add some red glow on the other side and all that stuff. That's the next step. Obviously we need to clean some of that stuff up still. We probably need to add some more events to actually transmit those kind of changes correctly. Again, you don't just want to have state transmission, you want to have event transmission, which is what we're dealing with here. Now what you really want to do is a sort of generic throttle that collects events for, you know, 20 milliseconds or something. So if you get a lot of updates in a very short period of time, it kind of starts a regular update interval kind of thing. No worries, man. Thing is, programming is a skill that's useful in any field. So even if you're not going to be a raw programmer / code monkey, knowing how to program is always going to be useful in any other field that you go into as well. Be able to make your own tools. Alright. Card glow listeners. Oh. Fair enough. Now, if I open a client, the net client prototype, does it still interact with those two? So that's broken now. Oh, okay. Why? Why is it loading animation helpers? Oh, because it loaded. Well, it has a dependency on that now because... Well, you know what? I don't actually want the XenoCard in here. So I think we should remove it. So if we remove this... mouse cursor.add event listener is not a function. Ah, yes, okay. We need to move the event dispatcher up to here. Aha. So that box still gets loaded on those guys. Geometry of undefined. Drag and drop 22. So drag and drop 22. What? No. Here's nothing here. Drag and drop 22. 22. Create wireframe. Geometry of undefined. Create wireframe mesh. So I think it's because drag and drop tries to attach itself to this thing. So if object.name equals card.collider. Only then do we attach it as a card. Because otherwise it's probably not a card. And then we don't get that error on the box object that the drag and drop system doesn't actually know anything about, right? If we create a new one of these. So these two are here. They're interactive. They also appear on these clients, but these are completely different clients. They just happen to get those objects instantiated by the server. So connected to the same channel, if you like. Or the same server instance. Even though they're very different clients. Excellent. So clients with very different code bases can interact with each other. As long as they understand the network messages, basically, the protocol. That's cool. So not forwarding. When does that happen? There we go. Cool. Hey Maghrib, how are you? Alright guys, I'm getting tired. I think we've accomplished a lot. And the next step is going to get a bit trickier. And I'm not actually sure if I should be pushing forward with this in terms of prototypes. But we've cleaned up the selection effects. We managed to integrate them with our networked example. The drag and drop example we've updated so it works. Now next turn we have to clean up the animations and the synchronization of the start, drag, and drag stuff. But I don't want to push too much to it because it's really just a simple example. It's not really, you know, I don't want to build game code here. So maybe we'll start looking in a different direction. And maybe we clean up the networking stack a little bit. And maybe we'll start working on a few other things such as different kinds of synchronizations and different kinds of ways of passing data through the network and all that stuff. And maybe I should start thinking about cleaning up the code and maybe open sourcing some of it. I have to see how independent the network stack is from 3JS. It should be completely independent actually. In fact, I might want to do a network example that doesn't use the 3JS prototype. I am streaming from Malta and we have very heavy rains, but only in winter, not now. But it gets so heavy, it floods every other weekend basically. But they're really short and heavy. There's no drizzle, there's just downpour. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it a day. I'll need a break and I'm getting so sleepy, so I'll start again fresh with a coffee in the afternoon. Let's have a quick look at the Game Dev Network channel schedule for today. Today is Friday, the 3rd of June. So, let's have a look at that. The next streamer will be Ronimo, creators of Awesomenots, streaming at 3 o'clock till 5 for 2 hours. That's 3 o'clock CET, or exactly 2 hours from now. So check them out over on twitch.tv/GameDevNetwork, and then later on today I will be back on twitch.tv/Xenocide Academy, livecoding.tv/Kilroy, and after Awesomenots, maybe, yeah, probably around 5, I'll stream also on GameDev, on twitch.tv/GameDevNetwork. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. Follow, subscribe, whatever the hell you have to do on that particular channel where you like to watch. And if you really want to know, follow me on Twitter, Kilroy42, I think is my Twitter handle. It's up on the screen in the corner. And you'll know when I'm streaming. So thanks for watching, guys. And putting up with my terrible spelling, then I have to go back and fix every line I write. That's difficult. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later in the next stream. Have a good Friday. Take care. Keep on JavaScripting. That's what we do here.